Cam Newton is returning back to the Panthers, and he's their all-time leading passer in NFL history. He revived the Panthers, at least in that 2010s era. Now he's back. The Teddy Bridgewater experiment didn't work. The Sam Darnold experiment didn't work. Now he's back in Carolina. They are 4-5 right now. 26th ranked offense, but 7th ranked defense. Can he take the Panthers to the playoffs?
Wait, so remember how we was having that discussion about how Stafford changed the Detroit Lions? Could we say that Cam sort of changed the Carolina Panthers?
He definitely did.
The thing is, Carolina went to a Super Bowl. Obviously, it was a few years in between, but it's not like Carolina was like a laughingstock organization. They had a bad season, which is why they got the #1 overall pick. But it's not like they have been a disgrace as a franchise.
So you would say no?
I would say not to the degree that Stafford did for the Lions.
Before Cam got there was a period where they sucked.
No, for sure. No, definitely.
Jimmy Clausen was their quarterback.
Oh, I'm not saying they were good.
So you're saying, yeah. You're sticking
I'm
on
not
the
saying
edge
that they were an embarrassment. They weren't an embarrassment.
Lions with Barry Sanders were actually, you know that the Lions, you know the Lions are 10th in most wins all time by the NFL franchise.
I mean, how long have they been founded?
I did not know that.
Were they like one of the OG teams founded?
I don't know if they were the OG teams founded. I think they were, but
Yeah.
I think in the 90s they were a winning organization. I don't know. Don't fact check me on that. Well, you can fact check me on that, but I know that before Stafford, like not right before, because obviously they went winless.
Oh,
but
16. Mm-hmm.
I know that before that period, like in the 90s, they were one of the teams that were winning, and
Relevant.
you know Barry Sanders had a lot.
Barry Sanders is a legend.
Big Barry. The question is, of course, can Cam get them to the playoffs? I don't know. You know, the last time we've seen Cam on the scene, you know, he still had the same problems. He's inconsistency with throwing the ball deep, his inaccuracy. I mean, Cam still has I feel like Cam still has that ability to get a team a win. You know, he still has that running ability. He still can make those passes at times. And, you know, this team is loaded on the offensive end. But I don't know. This team right now it's at a buzzkill right now. You know, Sam hasn't worked. Teddy didn't work. You know, bringing in Cam Newton, a guy who hasn't played all year, a guy who lost his spot to a rookie. You know, it's hard to say that he's going to just come in and not win this division, but make the playoffs, especially in the NFC where teams are so tough. You know, you got the NFC West. You got, even in your division, Atlanta looks good. You know, the Saints look good. And then you got Tampa Bay. It's going to be tough to say Cam Newton, who hasn't played all year and didn't play that well last year, is going to come in and take them to the playoffs. So I'm going to have to go and say, no, I don't think Cam is going to get them to the playoffs. But I hope he does play, and I hope he does play well, though.
All right, so first off, I want to start with good things because obviously Cam Newton, what he's meant to not just the franchise of the Carolina Panthers, the NFL as a whole. Just his swag off the field, his demeanor that he carries himself is a way that other NFL players want to carry themselves as well. He's an inspiration to a lot of these guys in the league. So credit to Cam Newton. I'm very happy that he's back in the NFL. That being said, in terms of talking about his football play, he was really great at one point, but unfortunately at this current point in time, he's not the best quarterback. If we had to rank Cam Newton right now, we'll probably rank him late 20s, in that 20 range. He doesn't have the great ability to throw the football. Throwing the football was never his strength. His strength was always his legs, his body, his physical attributes were always at the forefront of his game. At this point in his career, his arm is lacking. The fact that Mac Jones was able to beat him out in a camp as a rookie after he had a full season to learn the playbook, really get a grasp of it, finally have a full training camp with the New England Patriots, still wasn't able to get the job in New England. Had some time off, obviously, after he was released by the Patriots. Now he's back with Carolina. Carolina obviously has some weapons. McCaffrey's back. Who knows for how long, because McCaffrey these last 2 seasons has been a question mark whether he's going to play or not. Obviously, you have DJ Moore, who's broken out these last couple of seasons, and he was excellent to start the season, but once Sam Darnold's body started to fail him, DJ Moore's numbers started to slip up. Robbie Anderson, who was great last year, but this season leads the league in drops. It all comes down to whether Cam Newton's going to be able to throw the ball. I know that him and McCaffrey are going to have immediate success because McCaffrey and Newton already had time together in Carolina. But at the same time, Cam Newton's one of his strengths is seeing the check down, seeing the seeing the running back in the flat. So I know that McCaffrey's going to be taken care of. My concern becomes DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Do I think he'll be a factor in some games and getting them a few W's? For sure, because Cam Newton has those abilities. Whether he's going to impact it with his legs, I'm pretty confident he could win a few games with his arms, but not overly confident, truthfully. So I don't know if it's going to relate to them making the playoffs. I think that he'll have a difference in the win column, but not by much. I think that by adding Cam Newton, you're maybe adding 2 wins to the record.
By the way, from 1990 to 2000, the Lions had 6 seasons where they won 9 or more games.
Tough.
1990 to 2000 flat.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Very tough.
60%. That's pretty solid.
Barry Sanders vibes.
Bro, Barry was
Backpack.
God mode, bro. He was ridiculous.
For the football topics, I'm going to chime in. There's just 2. And the reason for that is because you guys know I'm in football mode right now. So
Let's go.
I'm actually planning on just hosting these basketball episodes moving forward because I'm in football mode 100% right now. I love this move. I love that the Panthers went out and got Cam Newton, and the Panthers are making the playoffs. This, to me, when they first went out to get Stephon Gilmore, that to me was a move that told me that they're bought in on this roster.
Definitely.
When Sam Darnold goes down, PJ Walker is not good. And one of the reporters asked the general manager of the Panthers, do you not trust PJ Walker? Because that's how it feels like on the outside. And he tried to kind of go around the question, but the truth is they don't trust PJ. That's why they brought in Cam. Cam Newton is going to take the Panthers to the playoffs, and I'm going to love every single moment of it. All-time leading passer in Panthers history. Walking into the NFC, before the season started, we thought there were going to be at least 3 teams to make the playoffs in the NFC West. Right now, it just looks like it's going to be the Rams and Cardinals. The 49ers don't look good. The Seahawks don't look that good. Russell Wilson is back, but do I fully trust the Seahawks? I don't. NFC North, the Vikings continue to lose very close games. I'm not much of a believer in them because they can't finish out any games. Green Bay is the only playoff team in that division. NFC East, Cowboys, only team in that division to make the playoffs. I'm certain of that. So now it's down to the NFC South. The Bucks, I think, will win the division. But who is that second team? Do I trust Atlanta to finish the season off strong? I think there are more holes in their roster than Carolina. Do I trust Carolina? I do. Their defense is elite. They have a top 10 defense in the NFL. Some of these weeks they have gotten a bit exposed, but now that Stephon Gilmore is there to solidify that back end, J.C. Horn isn't too far away from a potential return. Now you have a lot of pieces there. And the Panthers, they just need consistency at the quarterback position. Cam wasn't horrible in New England. He threw for 8 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, and the passing numbers don't look great. But then you realize he rushed for over 500 yards and had 12 touchdowns on the ground. So in reality, he had 20 total touchdowns and 10 interceptions. He's going to give you solid quarterback play. This is the first time, I think, in Cam Newton's career where he has a supporting cast this good in Robbie, DJ Moore, and CMC, at least on the offensive side of the ball. Because in his glory days in Carolina, the best offensive weapon was Greg Olsen, one of the better tight ends at the time. But at receiver, you had Ted Ginn. And Ted Ginn is an okay receiver. He's a burner, but is he as great as DJ Moore? No. Is he as good as Robbie Anderson? I don't think so. Yeah. So now Cam Newton actually has some receiving threats. So Carolina has the offense, they have the defense, and now most importantly, they have stability at the quarterback position. And I was going to mention another team from the NFC South. It's the Panthers, Bucks, Saints. Saints don't have a quarterback. And because the Saints don't have a quarterback, nor a receiving threat, or a tight end, they don't have anything. And Alvin Kamara is out for this upcoming game. I don't believe in them. So I think my final playoff picture for the NFC is going to be the Bucks, Cowboys, Packers,
Arizona,
the Rams, the Panthers, and the Vikings.
Vikings still creep in.
Yes.
Interesting.
He's
Interesting.
gonna ride that
Interesting.
one.
They're 3 and 5, right?
3 and 5 or 4 and 5. They're one of those.
This is tough. I don't think with the addition of Cam Newton that the Panthers can make the playoffs. Panthers are bottom 5 in terms of passing, and that was with Sam Darnold. I don't think as a thrower, Cam Newton is honestly. I think Sam Darnold might be a better thrower of the football than Cam Newton at this point. I mean, they're both. It's not saying much because they're both bad. Okay. They're ranked 17th in the run. I know when they get CMC back, he'll help them out. Cam Newton can help them out in the run, but a lot of this to me is predicated on if Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy. Because even when he was healthy, we saw Carolina winning a couple games with him. So he's that, he's that all-purpose back. He's that back that's gonna take a percentage of the offense. He's gonna have the ball out. So if he comes back and he's healthy and he can remain healthy, I think he'll help them. In terms of their offensive line, I'm not too high on their offensive line. I saw their rankings. I think they're ranked 22nd and in the offensive line. And another thing that I found kind of crazy was the fact that they had the third most difficult schedule remaining in the NFL with an opponent win percentage of 58%. And right now they're sitting at 4-5, and I just think it's too much to ask of Cam Newton, a guy who hasn't really played football in a while, who came off a pretty, average season with New England. I think it's just too much for him to ask to take over this roster and take them to the playoffs. Do I think he can get them some wins? Yeah, I think they'll probably finish with 7-8 wins, but I don't think that'll be enough to get them to the playoffs.
I'll tell you what, JC said a lot of good stuff right there. I mean, you look at what's going on in that division right now. It's a really tight race. You have obviously the Buccaneers, who are probably going to run away with the division.
They will.
Then you got the Saints 5-3. You got the Falcons 4-4, and then in last place are the Carolina.
4-5 with Carolina.
Excuse me, that's what I meant. Thank you, I appreciate that. I'll tell you what, Falcons are sneaky. They are definitely a team that I'm looking at and I'm not overlooking. Offensively, Cordero Patterson's had this renaissance. Exact, bro. He's just I think he might be one of the few players that
He's a weird guy.
has broken out at the age of 30 or later in his career. That is just one of the more impressive things that needs to be spoken about more. I feel like news lines haven't spoken about Cordero not nearly as much as he deserves. He's been excellent. Matty Ice has been playing very great, and this is all without Calvin Ridley, their number one wide receiver. Cordero Patterson has taken this burden and put it upon himself. Boy. Kyle Pitts has been pretty good, but he's been up and down. He probably will still break the record for yards by a rookie tight end.
He's breaking a record.
Yeah, which is impressive for sure. But he had his moments of greatness. He's had his moments of being.
He's only been down because they weren't using him.
It started against the Jets, where he started going off.
Last week, I feel like he didn't do that much. You know what I'm saying? And now he's finally getting this full opportunity of being that wide receiver one, because obviously we know he's listed as a tight end.
JC mentioned the Panthers' remaining schedule and how they're tough. They face Arizona this weekend, Sunday. Kyler Murray might not play. If Kyler Murray...
He just logged the practice, so I think he'll play.
But I think they said he was doubtful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Yeah, against the Panthers. Defense is very stout. Colt McCoy, I don't believe in him, to be honest.
He looked damn good against San Fran.
The 49ers have a abysmal
terrible
defense. Then after
Secondary's good, though.
If they can beat Arizona and they can be 5-5, next up is Washington. They can beat Washington. Then they have Miami. They can beat Miami.
Yep.
That's 3 wins in a row. They can win right there. That's 7-5. Then they face Atlanta. They can beat them 8-5. They face the Bills. That's a loss, 8-6. They face the Bucks, 8-7. Against the Saints, 9-7, and then against the Bucks last game of the season, depending on if the Bucks have to play for anything, they'll probably easily win that game. So I think
let's
the
also
Panthers.
Take into account Saints did lose to the Panthers earlier in the season, so who knows what goes on in that last
division games are always tough.
That's why I say
they
that.
just don't have a quarterback though. Like
Trevor Siemian hasn't been awful though.
Do you really think I'm gonna trust Trevor Siemian?
Which I understand and I agree with that. Fair enough. That being
I don't
said,
even trust Taysom Hill,
which is understandable again. That being said, these last 2 weeks, Taysom Hill not only beat the Bucks but came back against the Falcons, gave them a chance to win the game. Just wasn't enough. They can
win that game, bro.
I think the Panthers will finish 9-8 or 10-7. And to reiterate my NFC standings, this is how I feel like the NFC playoff picture is going to ultimately finish. I think the division winners are going to be the Cowboys, Arizona, the Buccaneers, and the Green Bay Packers. Mm-hmm. So the division winners are the Green Bay Packers, the Dallas Cowboys, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Arizona Cardinals. And I think the wild card teams will be the Rams, the Vikings, and the Panthers. I think they all get into playoffs.